are down, and that is still not fixed. Oh. I just selected the region and then it reset. Huh. Okay. Gosh. What's up, guys? Colin, you there? You on mute?
Yeah, I was making fun of you for the tech failure while I was
making
muted.
fun of me while you were muted. Alright. Oh, guys, the intros are killing me. What's up? Another episode of Frag Logic. We are episode 28. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'm feeling good. Colin, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. That's good. That's good. I'm sure you were. I mean, I watched your tweets this last 4 days. You were in Dota heavy.
I feel bad for the non-Dota people that. Well, okay. I feel bad for all of my followers that follow me because there's only like maybe 10 that actually play Dota. But I'm trying to convert people. I'm trying to at least get people to see the esports side of Dota, even if you are going to play.
Yeah.
So I was spamming Twitter.
Most of the people that watch for us, and particularly, our followers of us are like all Gears heads. So anytime I'm playing Marvel Heroes, or we're talking about League, or we're talking about Dota, or we're talking about StarCraft, people are just like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, Dota 2, huge this weekend. So I'm pretty stoked. Tavares, the name of that song was Power. It's a power instrumental by Kanye West. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this week. So I'm gonna just get right into it. You guys see the topic: UMG Atlanta. Colin, you got a little bit of breathing in your mic, just so you know. But UMG Atlanta was this weekend. That's a Call of Duty event. Pretty solid event in terms of some of the matches, some of the teams. Mainly, let me. I'm just to say Impact. It was Impact because they're not even with them anymore. Let's just call them Impact. I wonder if that
they were with Epsilon.
Okay, now I know what happened right there, Colin. Of why the region was jacked up on my face.
Because you failed?
No, it's because the chat. So I have a chat window. If I don't pop that up, then it moves my face because the bottom screen adjusts. Yeah, so whatever. Anyway, so this weekend was pretty much dwarfed by, in my opinion, for that whole event, was dwarfed by Impact's video. I think that probably has more views than the the views for the event as of right now. But Complexity ended up winning, and that was a qualifier for the Esports World Cup in Paris. So they had on, I can't remember the guy's name. Ash, I think might be his name. Player from Complexity. Sounds right. But he was pretty stoked. I watched their whole match. Like, he was going off in terms of, pumping him up. Golden Boy did an interview right after the event, and I was like, man, this dude is, I really hope he interviews him. Sure enough, he did, because he was just, like, communication was there, he was pumping his guys up, and he was playing well. So it was just like the trifecta for him. He had a very good event. Was happy to see those guys win, and then have someone come on to kind of make up for the Epsilon Impact. It's just really bad. Caliber got second. I don't know if they're a new team or a young team or whatever, but a group of guys that did really well. Complexity had nothing but really good things to say about them. They played a really solid search and destroy game, but they couldn't put together hardpoint. So it's one of those things where if this was S&D heavy, they probably would have won the event. But needless to say, I mean, they really played well. The third place team was Impact. They got dropped by Epsilon. This, I want to say it was, that went out yesterday is when I read that.
Yesterday or the day before, yeah.
So basically bad sportsmanship is the reason they got dropped. They got third place, and it was one of those things where, I mean, I wasn't watching that particular match, but Colin showed me the video after, like right before the show, and I was just in awe. Like, I don't know if I've seen anything that bad from an Halo team, a Gears team, or I mean the Call of Duty European fiasco that happened. That was like 2 months ago, maybe a month ago. That was probably about the same level. I mean, there was another event where I think some guys were fighting. I don't know if that's the same one. No, it's not. I can't remember the event, but there was an event where like a punch was thrown or somebody got pushed or whatever. But man, as much as Call of Duty is getting pushed into the spotlight right now, man, they got some really bad apples, just really bad apples in that group. And it's, I mean, I don't know if that's like any indication of the number of people that are playing and just the top players, or not all of them obviously, but some of the top players that are in the spotlight right now, mainly from Impact, are just awful. But yeah, actually, let's go ahead and pull up the video because I actually have it loaded. So let's switch views so I can show you guys. We're gonna go to the one view screen here.
I'm just impressed that they can talk all this shit during the entire match and still play. Like, the game is that easy. They don't need to communicate. They can literally just shout across the room.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I think that's a comment on Call of Duty.
It was pretty bad. So it starts off, it's perfectly fine. Like this is normal, right? Would you say this is normal, Colin?
Yeah, I'd say that the fact that he keeps it up for the entire match is abnormal.
He's not even playing right now. Look at
I know, he tells
controller.
us. That's what I don't get, like, how is this dude yelling the entire game? Like, is the game that... like, his team can't possibly communicate over that, right? Like, how could you communicate with someone fucking shouting right into his mic the entire time? I mean, I don't know. It just seems strange to me. But yeah, it's pretty normal stuff, I'd say, that he was saying.
Hey, Cap! Oh my God! Hey, Cap! Middle! What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You could have done a rotation! Karma, we played around you, bro! We played around you! For this, David?
Go back.
Oh, Rambo, you are so lost, bro. 9 months, you are lost.
At this point, I'm still cracking up. Right? This is all good.
Oh, God.
All right, it's gonna start to turn sour, guys.
They know they lost. Woo! I'm crazy, boy. I am crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, you need every point. Tell them, Ray. You need every point.
There's not enough let's goes in there.
Tell them,
I just gotta say that.
point game is weak. Really weak. I am a champion. You're not. I am a champion. Karma, you are nothing. Nothing. I'm not even playing. I'm literally not even playing, bro. I'm sitting here the whole time talking shit.
And he's still gonna make more money than you.
That's fine. But guess what?
Zip him up! J-Cap, you can't fucking beat me! Who said sit out? What's up? What's up then? What's up?
Hey! Woo!
What's up?
I love it. I feed off of it, bro.
All right, so this is where it's like they're taunting the crowd now. Like, okay, it's starting to get out of hand a little bit for me.
Will you?
It's mathematically impossible.
The taunting the crowd's a bit
Who
fucked
can't
up.
anchor, Damon?
To me.
Who can't anchor? Zip him up. J-Cap is clueless. You can't have him and Proof on the same team. Where's Study at? Zip Zip them up. Zip them up. We're champs over here. No. We champs over here. We champs over here, boy.
One player doesn't change a whole team, buddy.
There's a reason why we're hated, boy, because we gonna keep winning.
That's all I play for, bro. I am.
We over here winning, boy. We over here
Pay your
winning,
players
boy.
anything anyway, bro. You're funding. You play for nothing. I shit your salary, bro. I wipe my ass with your salary.
Hey.
Money, nigga.
Fuck these kids.
Oh, I'm hyped as shit. All right, this is where I gotta slow down.
They're so quiet. They know they suck.
What's the map?
They know they suck. They know they're awful. You are washed. Every single one of you. That's how I think. I'm the best. Whoa!
Let's go.
Yeah, pound that fist.
Someone in the fucking crowd do it. Woo.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Fuck up, dog.
Zero confidence.
Fuck up.
I can see the shame in
Adam,
his
zip them the
face.
fuck up. Zip them up. Zip them up. Astro, sit down. Sit down.
Yeah,
Sit
maybe
down.
2 years.
Sit down.
Like I'm
Sit
riding this
down.
I don't care about them.
What do? You watch the game. I play the game. I win.
Hey, hold on. Hey, look at my bank account. Look at my bank account.
Carry on that.
Look at my
What are
bank
you
account.
doing? You're watching. You're sitting here
My
watching.
bank account. Let's go.
You're watching me play.
I'm sick of this. Sick of it. Pathetic. Pathetic. Pathetic.
Pathetic. Hey, keep some you. You guys. I love you guys. You guys are everything, man. I love that money.
Hey, money team. The money team. Let's go. Second place. 12th again. I don't know what you're saying. Sit down, old man. Let's go. I'm turned.
All right. So, that was it right there. That was all of it in its entirety. So I mean, there's once they started, they taunted the crowd, and you brought up this point before we got going, but the only reason, the two main reasons that Call of Duty is even in the position that it's at right now is, one, Hastro, because he fucking got the spectating features in that they need so people could sit down and view it, and two, they have people viewing the game. If this was on Twitch right now and it was getting 1,000 viewers, let's even say that the sales were the same, but it was only 1,000 people watching, do you feel like Activision, do you feel like Microsoft or whoever would be sitting there saying it is worth our time and investment to make sure that Call of Duty gets the advertisement it deserves, and they're only getting 1,000 viewers to watch the game?
Hell, do you think that if Activision or Infinity Ward execs saw this video, that they would see esports as a positive investment?
No. So
Do you think that any of the companies that were on their T-shirt would think that?
I mean, they had Razer right here, and I know for damn sure that if any of them saw that, they would be like, you guys are gone.
Yeah.
Which is the main reason that Epsilon let those dudes go. So, I mean, part of the issue that we've talked about, in the past with the age range, the age bracket that this is in, is that if you get a gamer into the spotlight, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to act. One, they don't know how to deal with people. Two, I'm kind of generalizing here, but this is ranging from Halo to hell, I don't care, Dota, League, to Gears, to any of these games. You'll see players that are in the spotlight where they're throwing out racial slurs in games. They're just totally belligerent, reckless, unsportsmanlike, all the way across the board. And it's like, yeah, sure, you can say that this happens in sports and whatnot, but usually if people are doing this in like football or whatever, they get slapped with some pretty hard fines. We don't have that right now in gaming. But one of the things that I think that we do need to start investing in a little bit more, and this is what I do with our team, is put, and it's kind of hard because obviously you want talent, but do personality and character go a long way for me. And if you're sitting here putting riffraff, street trash, people that don't know how to handle themselves on your team, you are asking for shit like this. You are asking for it. So there's a certain...
What's crazy is that they had a history with this too. It wasn't like it was just one event. Like,
right.
They're known for this shit.
So I'm just kind of baffled that not only would they taunt the crowd, but you're gonna sit here and talk shit to Hastro? Like, dude, you probably wouldn't even be in the seat. He wouldn't even be in the position that he's in right now to talk about, oh, I'm making all this money. Look at my bank account. I'm wiping my ass with money. I'm shitting your salary. None of you guys would be sitting there doing that if the people before you weren't even there. So, I mean, at least pay him some respect. I mean, he wasn't even playing. He was coaching. So, I mean, sure, Hastro brought up money, but, I mean, I don't care. The thing that I think Hastro was saying was it was a response to the guy saying, we're champs. We're fucking champs. We're the champs and all this stuff. And I think he was like, okay, well, you might be champs, but it's like, this is our history. So just bad. And Rabbit Tricks, I'm really surprised that you're so defensive of this. Like, this is a very shitty ass sportsmanship. And you're like, oh yeah, Killer didn't even do all that stuff, and oh, it's okay, Hastro brought it. Hastro wasn't saying fuck you guys, fuck your mom, I'm gonna wipe my ass with the money that you guys. He said, hey, yo. I mean, I was sitting in the chat, I've been watching you, dude. You went up the top. The first thing you said was, Killer wasn't even all that bad. It's like, what? Have you been watching esports the last 6 years? Have you seen anything like that on that level? Sure, there's a fight every now and again, but I don't remember anybody doing stuff like that. I mean, that was on a whole another level of unsportsmanship and just conduct. Like, ugh, that was pretty sick. Sickening to watch.
I've never seen anything like that in any sport, to be honest. Like, there's trash talk in like boxing pre-games, maybe a little bit of spatting here at the beginning of a match. There's like some trash talk on court in basketball, which you hear sometimes when they do the listen in type stuff. But really, I haven't heard anything like that as far as like a endless tirade with entirely one-sided. There was no one responding at all on MV's side until Astro says something like 5 minutes into it, which I'm sure was actually more like 20 minutes into it, right? Because it was
all we saw
the last
was
game.
Shortened version of it.
Yeah.
And
So, I mean, it's like, I've never seen anything like that. And in contact sports, if someone's running their mouth, you can hit them. You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to be professional and take the high road, what response can you possibly give? You know? Like, you just have to sit there and listen to them.
Right.
That's why I find that getting on Hastro for it, responding to it, is the most absurd thing. Because he did the one thing you can do, is like, say something back once. Very PG, didn't say shit. You know, like, there's nothing else. There's no contact. You can't punch him in the mouth. You know, you can't. If someone talks shit at the beginning of a boxing match, you know there's gonna be a brawl anyways. You know, football, you know that if you're talking shit, you play quarterback. You're talking shit to the wide receiver, then you know you're going to hit each other every single time. You know, it's like, you know that if you say something, he's gonna hit you in the mouth. You know, like. I just don't. I don't see the glorification of trash talk in esports that some people give.
I mean, I find that level completely unnecessary, and it was fine. Again, it was fine for me up until you take it to the crowd, right? And it's like, you're gonna talk trash to the people in the crowd? Like, they're your viewership. The only reason that you're even sitting where you're in because people are watching. Like, it's just an unappreciative response for me, and that's all I really have to say about the event. Like, complexity, congratulations. Caliber, congratulations for second place. Impact, as much as they were talking about being the champs and all that stuff, they didn't even make it to the finals. They didn't even win that event. But that was just shitty across the board. And I think that from here on out, like,
Wait, they didn't win the event? He said he was a champion.
Yeah, they didn't win the event, dude.
He said he was the best in the game.
Yeah, didn't win the event. And Colin, you told me
How much did third place pay?
I don't even know. It's a $10,000 tournament, so it wasn't that much.
So it's probably like $500. They probably lost money.
Probably.
There's probably a small dip in their bank account.
Yeah, but you said that Parasite ended up leaving the team. Like, that team is no longer a team. So
Yeah, I think Parasite either left or was kind of forced out before Epsilon dropped them. I don't know the details, but it sounded like he just left.
Okay.
And he basically threw his team under the bus and said that they were bad influences on him and that he wouldn't have said it without them.
Well,
Just bullshit.
what I had mentioned to you is that Parasite is proclaimed as one of the if not the best player in the game, and just based off of his like mannerisms and what I've kind of seen him do in the past, like it's really hard for me to believe like, yeah, they were a bad influence on me, because it seemed like he has a pretty shitty ass attitude anyway. So that's just me watching him play, and that's kind of the vibe that he gives off. So I don't know.
You say you definitely see it in Gears? You seen that kind of trash talk in Gears? There's just no way. Almost every event.
Yeah, I haven't.
There's
seen
nothing
one
close. I can't think of anything close. Especially on MLG events.
Hype.
I guess it hype a little bit, not really.
There was some. I mean,
Maybe because it's maybe because I know that in Gears it was all in good fun.
Cubano,
This seemed malicious. Like, this seemed very much malicious.
Cubano, sometimes. Terror sometimes, but I mean, he doesn't. None of them taunt the crowd. None of them are like, "Fuck you, crowd. I'm up here. I'm the best. You're sitting there in your seats. You came to watch me."
We're saying shit to a camera. Talking shit to a camera.
So, I haven't seen that, but hey, that's fine. So let's go ahead and get on Dota, which is a lot more PG.
A lot cooler, in fact. That's funny. It's like it's complete contrast, because I watched the Dota tournament and every single person is super respectful, even to the point of like giving big hugs to the other team after the match, after a tough match. You know, like, it's not even comparable. Anyways, International was fucking awesome. I've been waiting for it. It's like, I got into Dota watching the International 1 a little bit, but it was like in closed beta at the time, so I couldn't get in. By the time International 2 came around, I watched most of the tournament and kind of grew interested. I think I downloaded Dota, played a few matches, maybe like 20 or 30 matches. I was interested, but it was kind of hard to get into.
Right.
But I had fun watching, you know? Like, that was the thing, is I had fun watching. It's the same way I am with the fighting games. League of Legends is easier to play, so I played League for a while. And then finally I got into it too, again, probably about a couple months ago, leading into the International 3. Just because I want to play something different, so.
Right.
Anyways, I was really excited for the International 3, and I think that the event itself went really well. They had some absurd amount of prize money. Was it like 3 million? Over 3 million was the final pot after the compendium sales.
That's ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
First place team got 1.6 million, or maybe 1.4. Second place team got like 800K or 600K. Something ridiculous.
Have you seen my bank account? Can you imagine one of them saying that?
Yeah, I know, right? There were 0 mentions in players' bank accounts at any point.
My bank account.
There was 0 chest beating even. I don't think I saw anyone beat their chests. I saw no high fives or handshakes denied after a game. I saw it was fucking awesome. So Alliance ended up, spoilers, Alliance ended up winning. You've had a week to catch up almost. So Alliance won. They beat Navi, and I'd say, and I tweeted this, and I think that I still stand by it. It was a heat of the moment, but I think it was the best esports final I've ever seen. Like, story-wise, it couldn't have possibly gone any better. I think that the drafting system in Dota contributes a lot to it. Because you lose a match, and it's like, oh, what are they going to do next game as far as the draft goes? Like, are they going to let that thing that just beat them really badly through, or are they going to ban it and try something different? And then you can try a whole different strategy. Like, each game's different. But, I mean, like, Game 1 comes out, and... fuck, I can't remember who won Game 1, but it was a slaughter, right? And you're like, oh, shit, this is going to be a boring series. Game 2, slaughter in the other direction. So both teams took dominant games. And it's like, all right, that's the story. This is what each team's capable of, you know?
Right.
Like, 16-minute GG, 20-minute GG. Game 3 is probably one of the greatest games of Dota I've ever seen. It went like 40 minutes, back and forth the entire way. Navi kind of had the advantage for most of it, but they never really had it clinched. And it was kind of intense the entire way through, and then they finally won it. Then Game 4, Alliance comes back. It was another tough-fought win, but this time Alliance was kind of ahead the entire way, and Navi was playing from behind, and Alliance pulled it out. And then Game 5 is the most absolute batshit game batshit crazy game I've ever seen. And then Navi has this pretty big lead. They're about to go win the game, and fucking Alliance just ignores them entirely, pushes into Navi's base. Navi fucks up and doesn't get back to defend in time, and they lose half their base. And only taking like a little bit of damage on the other team's base, on Alliance's base. And then it's just this back and forth, and it's like they threw the match pretty much. But it wasn't really a throw, it was in like poor play, but the better decision making won out. And it was probably like the whole storyline for the finals is just amazing. On top of the fact that you had Navi, who's probably the most popular, well, absolutely is the most popular Dota team in the world. And then you had Alliance, who have probably been the strongest team for the past 6 to 8 months. So it's like who you would expect to be there. And neither team is Chinese, which is its own storyline, since China has historically dominated Dota. It's just amazing. I don't know. It's just the best finals I've ever seen. And I was a little bit upset because the winter bracket finals was between those two teams as well, and Navi just got shut out. It was like 2-0, wasn't even close. So it was, again, the best finals I've ever seen. And I think the best team won. I mean, Alliance won 5 games out of the 7 they played with Navi during the tournament.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you look at it that way, it's good. It's definitely a good case for why you shouldn't do a continuation series, because it gave a much better match going into Game 5, getting $1.4 million on the line, you know?
Right.
That's insane.
So, I'm not going to save that because then we can kind of get into it here in a second. But so I haven't watched the grand finals yet. I actually have that linked in our notes so I can watch the rest of that. But I watched the match that you said was the best match you'd ever seen in any game ever in the history of esports, something like that. Something along those
That
lines.
would have been.
I watched.
That would have been the finals.
That wasn't the finals.
That was the finals.
That wasn't.
You might have seen the one where I said, if you're going to watch one game this entire tournament,
this
is the one.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Which was when Navi got stomped by Alliance.
That was the.
That was the winter bracket finals.
Now, Colin, they're saying that you're louder than me. I'm not
I'm
adjusting.
talking loud. I'm just talking loud.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm excited because
Okay.
I'm excited because I like Dota,
That's fine.
and the tournament was fucking amazing.
But I'm kind of feeling like if there's 2 titles right now that are just far and above everything else, it has to be Dota and it has to be League. And right now, for me, Dota, based off of their in-game client and just kind of the way that they're handling things, I like how they're going about their approach. The perfect example being how they did the pot, right? That is, I mean, it was a phenomenal way to do the pot.
The compendium sales.
Yeah, I mean, it added to it, and players felt like, man, I'm really contributing. Like, it was like, I'm contributing to this event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More so than just saying, okay, well, I'm watching this event, so I'm involved because I'm watching. It was like, I am contributing to this event, and it almost made it like Kickstarter-esque. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I gave Alliance like 2/10 of a penny each.
Yeah.
Just think about that. I directly handed 2/10 of a penny to each of those players.
Exactly. See, so I mean, I really feel like that is the way it should be, almost. Like, they're paving the way and the model for how in terms of prizing, these need to be structured. The bracket system, all that stuff, hey, that's neither here nor there. But in terms of how prizing needs to be handled, I think Valve is doing it exactly right. There is just no other way that it should be done. That's not looking at sponsorship money. They're not saying, hey, we need $100,000 for this event so we can actually run this event. Can you guys do that for us? Can you guys so we can make prizes that are really shitty for the players? Can you guys do that? No, you can't. Oh, okay. Well, the prize pool this month is only $20,000, guys. Sorry, and I'm not trying to knock anyone that does that, but that's just a bad way to do it. So, the fact that Valve has kind of gotten esports in a way that makes sense from a prizing standpoint is what has me so excited.
The important distinction being that Valve up front said, hey, we're going to throw this great tournament. Here's $1.6 million for the prize pool. And it's like, if you guys value this, then go ahead and chip in, get these compendiums. You'll help us out, help us essentially recover our costs for the tournament. Then you also directly contribute to the pot. We'll give you a bunch of cool shit in return. Like, you got virtual items. The compendium itself actually was like a prediction book and a fantasy book. Since you had like a page for your fantasy team. And then you had like all predictions for like who would get first blood the most, who would be the most banned champion, who'd be the most banned hero, most picked hero, etc. So
yeah,
like they added value to it, and then they had trading cards for the players as drops, which you could redeem inside of your books. You can kind of like collect them all essentially. So people have like full pages of certain players in their inventory as well. So, I mean, like, the way they did it was just from the ground up, like, just made sense to me.
Right. Now, one question I do have is Valve doing what Riot is doing in that they're trying to own the players and the teams?
No, I don't think there's anything that would indicate that.
Okay.
I don't even think they plan on expanding tournament-wise. I think they want other leagues to do the tournaments for the season and then just have their one big event.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, I mean, it seems like that's very much their focus. It's like, hey, we'll do this one big event each year. We'll help the community. They actually have anytime there's tournaments, you can buy a ticket in-game, and it lets you spectate the matches for the tournament in the client, and then also download replays and stuff. And those proceeds go directly to the tournament organizers.
Right.
So Valve, I think, takes a small portion, but for the most part, it goes to the tournament organizers.
That's good.
So they do that to help other leagues run tournaments, but they aren't necessarily trying to control everything. And there was no advertisements during the entire International. There was no sponsoring products or anything like that. I didn't even see any ads for Valve games. Like, I never saw anything about Left 4 Dead or Counter-Strike or anything like that.
That's interesting.
It's strictly a Dota event.
I think the one thing that I guess that strikes me is maybe different. Maybe they'll take a different approach depending on how the game blossoms as an esport. But Riot is trying to control the league a little bit more than Valve is, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good or bad thing. But I guess I'm just really interested to see how those two kind of branch off and continue on the next. I don't know. I'm going to say 3 years because I don't know if maybe there's probably going to be a League of Legends 2 or something else. You know what I mean? So it's really difficult for me to say, yeah, they're probably going to continue doing the same old thing that they always do. I'm going to put 3 years on it. 3 years from now, what is the competitive esports scene going to look like for at least MOBAs for the time being? The other thing that I think, you kind of asked me before the show is like what I thought from a viewer standpoint, because I've played an hour of Dota, 1 hour.
Yeah, and that's probably the biggest knock against Dota is that it's hard to get into if you don't play.
Yeah, and so I've watched maybe, plus this event, maybe about 10 hours, I'd say, of Dota. I probably watched about 10 hours and played it 1 hour. And the only reason I understand what's going on in MOBAs is because of Smite. But there's still times when I'm lost. No commentator is going to help me. Just no, like playing an hour is not going to help me. The only way that I'm going to understand it is playing that specific character, understanding what he can do and what he can't do, and just playing the game. So that's one of those, and it's really hard to translate, I think, for some of the games like Dota or League or Smite even, what's going on, even with I should say, with the commentators, because you just have to have that game knowledge. So if there's anything I could knock, is like someone that's new trying to watch, it can be difficult, and that's my only thing that's really difficult for me to.
And the commentators didn't help that at all. I mean, they're seasoned guys that do tournaments throughout the entire year, and none of the tournaments are aimed at new viewers that'd be watching during the international.
Yeah.
So I found myself watching, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't think I would understand what's going on there if I was someone that was new. And they're using like abbreviations for the items and stuff like that, so you can't even really look it up.
Yeah.
The one thing which sucks is the in-game client is still it's free to play, but if you opt in for the in-game client right now, you go into a queue to download, so you can't immediately download it because they're trying to slowly ramp up. So what sucks is that what I would say is the best way to watch it and get into it is to watch from the in-game client, because then you can just scroll over items and abilities and see what they do. You know, because you get the tooltips that you can't get during the stream. So like that's what I would say to someone that was new. But unfortunately, you can't really do that because you'd be sitting in a queue for days. So. But in the end, I think it's best. And there was actually 250,000 people watching through the in-game client, which is by far the most successful in-game spectator client I've ever seen.
Is there?
I can't think of anything that's even close.
Is there another?
I can't think of anything that's close. You'd have to look at like Counter-Strike, the Counter-Strike TV stuff.
They don't.
They
don't even
Source TV.
Source TV.
I can't remember what it was called in 1.6.
League doesn't have an in-game spectating client, do they? That you can watch matches?
And they do, but you can't watch pro matches through the client. There's a limit on how many people can watch, so they don't do it that way.
Okay. All right, I didn't.
It's like you can spectate your friends, but you can't like spectate a pro match from the client. Where in Dota, you like click watch, and it's like here's the tournaments that are active right now. And you click the international, and then it's like here are the matches that are live, and you can just click and watch.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can't think of any other game that has something similar. That's.
Last thing I want to touch on with this is the viewer numbers, which you hit on really early on. But according to Slasher, which I saw the tweet, there was over 1 million unique viewers for the event.
Concurrent.
1 million concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
What?
For the finals.
Okay, for the finals. Which is second only to LCS. So
I think they were at like 1.2 for the championship last year.
That's insane. That is insane.
Yeah. What's crazy is how diverse it is, because the U.S. stream was like 250 to 300,000, and then the Russian stream was like another 150,000, and then another 300-some thousand from China, and then 200-some on the in-game client. So, and yeah, it's not counting TV because they were also on Swedish TV live.
That's pretty damn impressive.
And I assume TV in China somewhere too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Real quick in closing, the third place team, which did you mention them?
Third place team is Orange. From Malaysia.
Please link them the
picture
that you sent me, which is just insane. Before the show, Colin showed me a picture of Malaysian group of people watching this Dota 2 event. This is outside, I think, of the LAN center. Who knows how big maybe it was on a projector or whatever. But they're sitting there watching that, and he said it was at 4:30 a.m. in the morning.
It's like 4:30 watching Orange against Navi, which was the loser bracket final.
That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts, guys.
Yeah, I saw it on the other side. It was like a projector screen they're watching. They said that they have like these kind of setups usually for soccer matches, where they'll have the projector out and everyone will kind of gather in the streets to watch.
Yeah.
But I doubt they've had that situation at 4:30 a.m. Watching an esports tournament. I can't think of it happening anywhere else in the world, really. Certainly not America. I couldn't imagine anything like that with that many people.
That's crazy. Absurd.
And Orange was sick to watch, too. I think I should mention is that the thing which I liked about Orange is Mushi, who is probably their MVP for the tournament, played 19 different heroes out of the pool. I think there's 96 that were in the pool for the tournament. So he played almost a fifth of all the heroes in the pool. And he just, I mean, it's like you're playing one role, too. He was their carry. So he pretty much played almost every single carry that you could.
Wow.
And they got third.
I wonder how much time these dudes are playing a day. Is it like 10 hours, 16 hours? It has to
be a ton.
It's probably between 10 and 16 hours a day. But to know 19 heroes, like, that's insane. Just think, in Smite...
Well enough to play them on the world stage.
And yeah, to get third place. And when we were playing Smite, I think there was 30 characters in the game. So, I mean, he would have known more than half of the characters in that game. Like, that's sick. That's sick.
Yeah.
So, let's go ahead and move on to the... I guess we go chat topic really quick. I don't have that in the notes, but it's already 8:40. Didn't have a chat topic for today, but I'll go ahead and add it. All right, so we're looking at the chat. What do you guys... What may have we missed this weekend or not had an opinion on?
Hopefully it's more Dota.
Hopefully it's more Dota, yeah.
I'm actually probably not going to play for a while. I'm going to get Splinter Cell here next week and take a break from Dota.
Yeah, you're going to be back on the sex box.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I booted it the past month. 2 months.
Will it run?
Yeah, it runs. I accidentally turn it on all the time because it's that the Slim, which just like turns on with the slightest bit of a touch.
Oh.
So it runs. And the disc tray works too.
Nothing from the chat. Nothing from the chat today. No chat topic. All right. Loadout. What do you?
No, you can't do loadout.
That's the first thing I saw. Steam trading cards? What about them? They're cool.
No, they aren't.
Final Fantasy 14.
I want to play... Is the open beta thing this weekend? I think it's the 17th, right?
I haven't been keeping up with it. Is it... Wait. 14
I think it's 17th to the 20th?
14 is the one that they... Basically...
Yeah, 17th.
They took everything down and redid it, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It tanked and everyone hated it, and then they just like, we're so sorry, and then they spent another fucking year and a half on it. So,
well, hopefully it's.
I think it's a big bet for them. It's a big bet.
Hopefully it's better because that's pretty bold. Be like, here's a game. Okay, that was the wrong game. We're gonna take that back. You guys gotta wait another year and a half. Here's your game back.
It sounds like it's better from everything that I've heard. It sounds like it's actually pretty fun now.
GTA
It's still an MMO.
Excited. Battlefield 4. Excited.
Multiplayer review for GTA is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Battlefield 4 is showing a new map and mode at Gamescom.
I was wondering what the mode will be. Gamescom, speaking of that, Microsoft is supposed to show some more, or have some more Xbox stuff. So I'm thinking, I should. You know what? I'm not even going to spoil it because that's later in the show, right before we end.
And Splinter Cell comes out next week, and I'm going to be picking it up. You're picking it up too, right?
Yeah. Probably be streaming that, taking down some food.
I want to see how many wins I can get in a row in like ranked 2v2. That's my goal.
So we're going for ranked 2v2 wins in a row.
Yep.
Okay. I'm down. Didn't really hit anything specific. I think we're excited for all those games. I really, my mom is here, so I'm not trying to rush the show, but I am trying to actually stay.
I'm trying to rush the show.
I'm trying to stay on point this week. Self-entitlement and esports. So, Colin, we talked about this last week with Jason. We talked about grassroots esports and the way to kind of build your community up in order to have a successful run at competitive gaming. You know, it's something that I think we always see. It doesn't matter what game it is. The first immediate response, I think, and this is not a bad thing, but I think it's just the level of expectations that people have for their game needs to be knocked down about 20 notches and just understand how things go. But All the time in shooters, you see people kind of like, is this the next MLG game? Is this MLG? Will it be MLG? Oh, I'm an MLG pro. Oh, this game should be competitive and it'll be MLG. Like you hear that all the time, right? And the issue I think with that mindset is that if the game, even let's say a game is phenomenal, but the players that are interested in competitive are only interested in it on MLG, usually that crew like just dies out and they don't play the game to actually grow it any in order to see it become a successful title. And some of the things that, if we look at history, the communities that have gone without MLG for a long period of time, and they weren't even around for a long time, but have gone without MLG, built up a competitive scene that revolved around just the grassroots community, whether that be local lands or whatever, or
usually online.
Or online. All of those communities are usually, some of them, mainly the fighting game community, I think, is probably the longest at this point in time, and they're probably the picture-perfect model of grassroots taking it to the next level in terms of Evo. But almost all of those games that didn't have some big entity like, we are going to control competitive gaming, saying, oh, your game is good and your game isn't good, all those games are pretty successful, and to a certain degree, and they have people still playing, logging in matches, Counter-Strike, still logging in those matches, still logging in the competitive stuff, Quake, still logging in the 1v1s, people still playing that game competitive, they have QuakeCon, I mean, all those dudes are still doing stuff. You got the fighting game community with Street Fighter and all the other games that they've now enveloped under that kind of game. You have League of Legends. I'll even use them as an example. At the time of their release, they were in beta, which was like 2008. I remember a lot of people kind of going between that and Heroes of New Earth. Remember eBash? People were like, oh, Heroes of New Earth is the shit. League of Legends is terrible. It's so easy. Remember people saying that?
Yeah.
But it was like the community of those group of guys, they just kept playing. They just kept playing. They just kept playing. And next thing you know, it's like all these people are playing this game and the community just kind of grew into what it is now. And there wasn't MLG, like MLG was like, oh man, this game is so big. They're big without us. Why don't we have this game on? It was a matter of like them saying, okay, we're going to rally around this game and we're just going to support it because this is the game that we love and this is the game we want to play. You don't see that in a lot of other, mainly shooters, but you don't see that in a lot of other games that want to be competitive and want to go to or get pushed into esports because they don't. The community mindset is, if MLG doesn't pick this up, then it's trash. I might as well not even play. And if they have that mindset, you know what they should be doing, right? Is playing Call of Duty, playing whatever is on MLG Pro Circuit if you want to be on the Pro Circuit.
Right? Even that's not a sure. Even that's not a sure thing.
Right. I mean, that's not a sure thing.
See Gears or Halo.
I mean, you might as well just game hop if that is what you want. If you want to be on the MLG Pro Circuit and you want to play a shooter, game hop to whatever shooter they're playing, whether that be online or whatever, and that needs to be your thing. But grassroots growth has traditionally been significantly more effective, and long-term results have been like better payouts. You're just going to earn more money in grassroots competitive growth than MLGs, which is this like short burst, right? They're like injecting you for a little bit, and then if your game isn't doing what they need, you're gone. Bye-bye. And then all those people are like, oh, I'm not making MLG money. I don't know how to even function anymore. So that's really huge. The next thing is, well,
there's no way to function anymore because all the grassroots stuff never existed or died.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the next thing that kind of happens, I think, out of grassroots growth is developer support, right? Almost every single game, I'd say maybe Valve might be the only one, but they could be switching that with Dota. Valve has been kind of with Counter-Strike traditionally.
Wasn't their game either.
Right. True.
Technically.
True. But it seems like if there's a successful grassroots growth for a game and it's been around for a while and people are still plugging away, developers go, oh, we have this over here that we didn't even know about, or that maybe we need to pay a little bit more attention to. And their support ultimately, typically, is better than MLG support. So, I mean, these are the guys that will make. I mean, MLG, I mean, they can push for stuff like they did with Halo. They can push on Bungie to say, hey, can you guys make these changes? They can push on Infinity Ward. They can push on Treyarch. But ultimately, if you have the developers saying, okay, we're paying attention to you guys. Oh, man, I just watched that whole match. They're exploiting this glitch, that's broken. We need to fix that. Man, they need a spectator mode. How are they even doing this? Like, that's when you start to see turnaround and game support and the longevity and stretching it out even further with a specific game. So Grassroots leads to developer support, which can or cannot lead to bigger events. But ultimately, what you see is like community events kind of going back and forth with MLG events. And the ones that always come to mind are like EVO versus MLG events. Can we count Riot at this point? Like their LCS? Does that count now? I mean, that's a developer event. It's not really a community event at this point since they said, no, we're going to take control of this. So
right.
I don't know what to call that, but it didn't start off that way. So I guess maybe you can count that. All the Counter-Strike stuff, all the Quake stuff, which, Quake, you know what? Here's my caveat with Quake. Quake has QuakeCon still, which is now Bethesda, and before that it was id. So, I mean, that's another case of developer support, but they saw that the game was like, oh, man, this is back in 1999 when people were playing 1v1, and, you know, when we had the fatalities and all that stuff, when that game kind of, those types of games kind of picked up, and they were like, okay, we're paying attention to that. So, that's one that started off then, and, like, you know, look at them now, they're still doing stuff. And then you got Capcom, I'm sorry, I already said EVO, but, I don't know what to classify that one as either, so I kind of feel like ultimately where I'm going with this is if you want your game to be competitive, if you want that, then you need to support the game. Like, you can't be in the mindset that I'm going to make MLG money, because realistically, you're probably not. The odds are you're probably not. So what are you really playing for? Are you playing to be the best? And you can do that in any game you want. You just got to play. Are you playing to, you know, get some guys together and grow a community? I mean, you could do that. But you got to know who to talk to. You got to know how to. I think kind of the way that Jason was kind of doing it is, you know, they took with the what's the name of it? Uncharted 3 group. You know, it was a group of guys that were just like, hey, we can turn this into something. So I really think if you're interested in growing it, then you need to buckle down and be like, fuck MLG, because they're not going to be supporting me if my game isn't big, and you just got to do it yourself. So that's my stance on it. I don't know and I have like a long rant for that, but Colin, I don't know if you have any different opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I agree for the most part. I think the one thing to note is that, the bigger point you brought up is grassroots support leads to developer support. I think that there's lots of instances of that actually being the case, and then really, I think in this day and age, you need developer support, both not only from the development standpoint, but also from a financial standpoint, in order to eventually get those big events beyond the grassroots stuff, you know? So I think that it's important that there's a symbiotic relationship there between the competitive grassroots community and the developer, and that you're looking to make the developer money as well as grow your group and then eventually make your own money. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, I hate talking money in tournaments because a lot of people do play just for the love of the game, and I think that really anyone who's competing on a regular basis and playing 5-6 hours a night still love the game. But at the end of the day, you need money in order to keep the community alive. I think that supporting the developer financially and helping them do the right thing financially, it ends up coming back to you eventually, right, if you stick with it and you keep supporting them. As long as the developer doesn't go under. I guess that's the caveat. Like, nothing was going to save Shadowrun when the developer closed the first week the game was out.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was, you know what their mistake was, and this, I said this multiple times. I think I might have said this multiple times.
I was gonna say making a shooter based on an RPG franchise.
I was gonna say, well, that's one, but they were like, this is the competitive title. This is an esport. Like that's what they were trying to market it as. It's like, what? All right.
I don't think they did though. I don't think they did.
No, they did. Trust me on this. they were pretty heavy, and all those dudes that made that, I think they left from Bungie to make that game, were all heavy into MLG. All of them. Every single one. And I can't think of a game, maybe you can, I can't think of a game that purposely said, this is going to be competitive and was successful. Not one.
No, and the number of games that have tried that and have been failing has been increasing every year, especially recently. Shootmania is Turbo Show.
It was just on Windows for Live.
Yeah, he said exclusive. But Shootmania is a good example, as Turbo Show brought up, of a game where they're like, we're making this for the competitive guys. And the competitive guys are like, okay. You guys gonna hold some tournaments for us? And then they played in the tournaments for that, but then like no community ever developed because no one really cared. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
they're all lining up for the handout, but then no one like wants to stick around and actually keep the community alive. And that's gonna happen with more and more games as more games are trying to cash in on the esports thing because they see League of Legends viewer numbers and Dota viewer numbers.
It's such
They're
a
like,
niche,
all right,
it's such
we
a
want that.
niche audience. Yeah, it's such a niche audience. If you cater to those dudes, all the people that will buy your game won't play. They just won't play. And this is what makes me so upset seeing competitive guys like, why don't you fucking listen to us more? We know everything. And it's like, if we listen to you all the time, our game would probably not sell well. Therefore, you wouldn't have shit to play for. I mean, there's some things that the competitive guys offer on the table that make sense. But the mindset that I see, like that entitlement, again, it's just like, no. Every single game that is tried failed. Every single one. I cannot think of one. Every single one. So that's all I want to end on with that. In terms of self-entitlement, esports, and MLG. Like, if my game is an MLG, then just play a game that's on MLG. Get good at Dota.
Good fucking luck.
Let's see here. Last one, Microsoft. Well, I have two more. Microsoft Kinect policy. Did you see this? I made a video on it.
Is this like flip-flop number 50?
What is the tally? I don't know what the tally is. It's all because of our show, too, by the way. Although, the only thing,
I don't think we talked about this.
Oh, no. The only thing that we said about the Kinect is that it's a gimmick, right? Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. The Kinect is a gimmick.
Although I do like the idea of everyone in HD camera with their Xbox. I think that's cool. I'm not sure it needs to be motion tracking.
I can get a $30 HD camera. Why is it $100 more?
Yeah, I know.
I can get a $30 HD camera. So, all right, for those of you guys that don't know, I released a video, but the thing that Microsoft did is basically said that the Kinect isn't mandatory now with the Xbox One. Initially, when I think it was May or whatever, they made all these announcements. They were like, you need an Xbox or you need a Kinect in order to play your Xbox One, and people were like, why? What?
Well, no. Specifically, Don Matrix said that it needed to be on and plugged in at all times to be able to play. So it wasn't just that you needed one, but it needed to be on.
Okay, so I was gonna get to that, and then I think in June, after Don made his, Don is just an idiot all around. So after Don said that, they went around and were like, okay, sorry guys, we messed up. You don't actually have to keep it on. You can actually turn it off, the camera and the sensor. Don't worry, guys. But you still have to have it connected in order to do stuff. You still have to have it connected. And now, another 2.5 months later, they're like, okay, so you don't even have to have it connected or plugged up or anything. The games should just work. Don't worry. I mean, we were lying when we said all that stuff. So I think the real reason that I think people are kind of like, okay, is you're packaging this item that isn't needed. Some people probably don't even want. I know a lot of people are paranoid about cameras being on. I'm not one of them. Unless I'm butt-ass naked, then I don't have a camera on. But there's people paranoid about cameras, people paranoid about their privacy. And so for them, they're like, I don't want it. I don't need it. Why am I paying another $100 more? That's where I think the other half of those people are like, why are you making me pay for $100 more, $100 more worth of product when I don't want that camera? I don't need it. Why are you selling this to me? And that's, I think, where my issue is personally. I personally, I don't feel like I need the camera. If I'm going to stream, what am I going to stream on? My computer, right? It's already hooked up. If they say, okay, we have HDCP protection, you can't stream, which they haven't clarified yet, and then I need to stream through Twitch and put in a have they clarified?
Yeah, there's no HDCP for games. For that, I assume like Netflix TV stuff, there probably will be. But you'll be able to do HDMI out, I guess.
That seems messed up. Because
they're catering to the cable companies who don't want the TV tuners to be able to stream. Since really it's a TV tuner, the boxes.
I just don't know. Look, here's my issue, and this is why I don't feel very confident in that response, is that the reason there's HDCP protection on PS3 is because of Blu-ray discs, right?
Right.
That was the initial reason. So they were saying a media format that they don't want copied to be put out on the internet and streamed and all that stuff. And now you're basically saying that Microsoft has said the exact same thing. And entertainment, in terms of media from Netflix or whatever reason they're including it, is on there. So they're saying that it will work for that, but not for games.
That was the official statement.
Why couldn't Sony get that right, idiots?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so, I mean, how do you feel about the Kinect? I mean, you already know, like, I'm more hype about the Oculus Rift than I am for the Kinect anyway.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the best thing, like I said, is just everyone having a camera, so that we can get our Uno games on. Maybe a better 1 vs 100 session. I mean, like, beyond that, I've yet to play or even see a game that interests me at all on the Kinect. Even if it's, I mean, I imagine it's going to be quite a bit improved over the current version, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a good decision that they made to not make it required, but it's one of those where it's like, this really should have been the case in the first place, right?
Right.
Like, I see no reason to have it be required to be plugged in at all times.
It doesn't even...
And on.
How is this affecting my game? In what way? And this is, I think this is the other...
It recognizes the controller, and it recognizes your face. It's like, alright.
It's stupid.
I got your gamer profile ready.
Why don't they put on some, like, fingerprint
You mean like
controller on the thing, on the controller? Hike up the controller price. Don't give me a camera.
Or you could have this menu thing where it lists your accounts, and then you just pick it and push the button, and then...
Or put a password on your account like they do now. Hey, I mean, I don't know what's different, guys. I don't know why. Oh, whatever.
Bunch of problem solvers.
Yeah. Touching on, you know, the last thing with this point is I think where this is perhaps hurting the Kinect is because they're not making it mandatory. You're going to see a lack of developer support for the Kinect. Not that there was going to be a significant increase in developer support for the Kinect anyway, but this makes it more so. It's like, well, I don't need this connected. My game doesn't even involve a camera. Why do I need this? I don't want to even put motion sensing in my game. Forget this. So I think that kind of hurts maybe the development for the Kinect, but ultimately it's going to be up to the people that are playing and what they want to play. So.
Yeah, which there's an article on Gizmodo. It's titled "The Xbox One is worse for everyone if Kinect's not mandatory," and they kind of made that same point, saying that if it's not always on mandatory feature of the Xbox One, then no one's going to develop for it, and it's not going to get used because obviously that's the case right now. The Kinect's not necessary, and no one develops for it, and as a result, the Kinect is useless. You know.
Yep. So. Peeking above the couch. Trich, you need to see our show on the Oculus Rift, dude. They have a game that you can use that stuff. I can't remember what the name of the game is called, but I read a whole article on it. It's pretty sweet.
It looked like he was going to fall over.
It did.
At several points.
The dude said his wife was knocking over... the developer said she was knocking over glass in their house, breaking stuff.
Shit was intense.
Said it's too real. Too real. Not safe. Alright, last topic. Ending it on this. Are MOBAs, I guess this is kind of a future. Are MOBAs going to saturate the market? Can I fit that? Oh, I fit it!
Can I give you the 10-second answer and then we can just end the show?
Yeah, sure.
No, because League of Legends and Dota already have all the MOBA support.
So do you feel like
There can't be a saturated market if no one leaves League of Legends or Dota to join the other MOBAs.
so basically it's people releasing games that will maybe get peak interest for a couple minutes and then I'm going right back to Dota.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing as World of Warcraft. You could have said the same thing 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, are MMOs going to saturate the market? And then it's like, oh yeah, because look at all this money they're making with World of Warcraft. It's a huge, profitable business model. And then there was maybe a few other large ones. There was like Final Fantasy was kind of big. EverQuest was always like right there over the years. But no MMO since has ever risen up to be like super successful.
Yep. So
I mean, like you look at the exact same thing with MMOs as you can see in MOBAs, and World of Warcraft hasn't gone anywhere. I think EverQuest, even like a few years ago, was still like one of the highest subscribed MMOs. The only time it gets past is whenever like a new one comes out for the first 6 months or whatever.
yeah.
EVE Online, I think, was also up there. So it's like the ones which were around back then are still the top ones, plus maybe one or two. Nothing has ever come close to the success that World of Warcraft had. I don't think that anything will come close to the success that League of Legends has, and Dota's kind of close to League of Legends, but it's not quite at the same spot. But I don't think that like those numbers are going to slowly trail off eventually. I think for League of Legends and Dota, but I don't think you'll see another MOBA get to that point. And there's like 7 coming out in the next year or two.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Smite is open beta. I believe. Yeah.
no, it's released.
Is it official release? I thought it was open
Yeah.
beta summer.
No, it was released.
Okay. So Smite officially released. I don't know where to put them. It's hard to gauge the popularity of that game. But I guess as a caveat with that, because Hi-Rez dropped support for tribes and focused on Smite, I think there is maybe some room to say, okay, well, maybe they are seeing some success in terms of financially anyway, to support development of the game in order for them to say, oh, we're putting all of our focus on Smite because this is our breadwinner, this is making us money. But then you got that DC one, Infinite Crisis. I've heard, is Blizzard making a MOBA?
Yeah, they just rebooted development like 6 months ago.
So
Like they just scrapped it. Well, wait another 2 or 3 years at least.
Blizzard making a MOBA. And then there's a bunch. I know you were telling me about one that you said was absolutely terrible that you played. I don't remember what the name of it was.
Oh wait, no, Blizzard making a MOBA. No, MMO. Sorry, Blizzard does have a MOBA though. It's Blizzard All Stars, which sounds like kind of a one-off thing. I don't think it's going to be
Okay.
crazy.
So
yeah, I played it. I played 2 or 3. Infinite Crisis wasn't very good. They're making a pretty big marketing push. It's like there's lots of companies throwing big money at it currently because it's like you look at League of Legends and it's like, okay,
Dawn Gate.
let's go for it.
Is that the name of the game, Colin, that you played? Dawn
Nah,
Gate?
I played one that's really early beta,
Oh. Okay.
and it's technically NDA, I guess, even though whatever.
So
Yeah, I mean, everyone that I played hasn't been very good, so
yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat as you with this, and it's kind of upsetting because I don't like. There's nothing that's going to change with the MOBA formula. You know what I mean? It's almost like the shooter formula, and I'm not even saying that like our studio is not making anything like groundbreaking or anything, but you know, we have weapon crafting, which is a different component a little bit. I mean, it's kind of new in terms of how it's being implemented, but we're not reinventing the wheel. And so I really wish that developers would step outside of the box and be like, all right, what can we do that's different? What can we do that's drastically different? And let's go for that. You know, I just don't feel like there's enough of that, and I understand why. There's the stability and the ecosystem in development, game development is shaky. It's like unstable. You don't want to go for the unsafe bet because no one may buy it. Whereas and not a lot of like studios don't have bank. Like you're not Blizzard where you have a bunch of games, or Valve. You have a bunch of games and you have this huge money pile where you can say, let's take this risk. You're gonna stick with what's been working. So I kind of want to see something different.
Big thing is, no matter what, you have the same barrier that the shooters have currently, which is even if a better game comes along, and the same thing the MMO genre had, even if a better game comes along, it has to be so much better that it can convince you to leave your friends and all the time you've invested in another game to come over and play. So all those champions that I bought in League of Legends, all of my friends list in League of Legends, all my 40 friends that play League of Legends, I had to convince them to go over and play with me on a new game. Same thing with Black Ops. You see the same, or with Call of Duty, you see the same thing. You know, it's like all my friends play Call of Duty. I've spent all this time. I've got I'm on my like 6th prestige. You know, trying to go for that 7th one.
Yeah.
And now I have to convince all my friends to come play with me on another game, and everyone needs to agree. Otherwise, it'll be like slowly just like going back to go play with the other guys on Call of Duty. So I mean, not only does it need to be better, it also needs to be enough better that you can convince people to leave what they're playing. Which is just really difficult.
And then they need to get hooked in the first like hour or two of their playing, because people will
because the attention span is awful.
Right, people immediately go, I don't want to waste any time on this. I don't know this game. I'm going back to what I know. This game is terrible, and that's like even if the game is.
And they go back to the game where they do better in too,
right?
Performance-wise.
So I'm pretty much with you. I don't feel like there would be a saturation of the market, because how you going to you're just going to throw a bunch of games out there, but there's going to be no communities for them, or hardly any.
I mean, depending on your definition of saturated, I think that the market will get saturated, but nothing's going to be successful beyond League of Legends or Dota. In the sense that over the next 3 or 4 years, there's going to be enough titles that there's way too fucking many. But it's not really going to dent either of the big giants, and no one's really going to rise up.
Exactly. So, that's pretty much all we got for today's show. Finishing pretty good time. Pretty good time, if I say so myself.
Yes.
We have any last questions from the chat? Seeing Battlefield is better than COD from Trix. Mop seems steeper decline. Downgate. Warcraft 4 MOBA. Oh, he already said it. Quinn. Oh, I didn't even see Quinn in there. What's up, dude?
Looks like we got nothing. Cool.
Nothing to finish out the show.
Yeah.
Quinn.
Next week we can. What's that?
Okay. No, nothing. Good.
Next week we can do a mini review of Splinter Cell off my 4 games that I've played by the time the show comes up.
Yeah.
Some first impressions, I guess, would be better.
We're going for the most rank wins in a row, correct?
Yeah, I want to stream and like try to go like 100-0 or something like Gear style.
Like Gear style?
Yeah. So I'm gonna play some quick matches first and learn the maps, and then hop into ranked and go 100-0.
That shouldn't be difficult.
We'll see.
I don't think it'll be difficult, dude. Who's gonna play that game? Who's gonna play that
There's
game?
There's some hardcore Splinter Cell guys that are still playing.
Who's gonna play that game to challenge us?
There's some dudes that are still playing Chaos Theory.
So?
Just saying.
You think Shindy's gonna be on?
Shindy, man. Gotta watch out for Shindy, and Terry 15's gonna snipe us.
Dang.
Ranked heroes.
Gal4 for the Xbox.
ROT. George the Greek.
CDN, Splinter Cell.
CDN doesn't want it. CDN doesn't want it.
TDM 5 kills equal Krill Strike or Raven Down heli support. That sounds straight up like troll. That's not happening.
Yeah, well, he put the kappa after it, so clearly it's meant to be taken seriously.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought that was Chrome's.
If there's a spectator mode, I want to do some stuff with Splinter Cell as well. But it sounds unlikely, which is sad, considering that they sponsored the Frag dolls. I expect better. Let me down, Ubisoft.
On that note, MLG losing StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I want to talk about that, but we didn't find a good time, man. MLG not doing StarCraft at Columbus.
Why not?
It's
not pulling the viewership numbers?
Not in their best interests. WCS, the the tournament that was actually this week, and we didn't talk about because I didn't watch any because they did it
it
the same fucking weekend as the Dota finals as we talked about. But yeah, they kind of took everything away, and NASL is doing the North American stuff, so MLG doesn't really have any incentive to do anything. They're not getting any Blizzard money, I'm guessing.
that hits on that entitlement.